Don't be getting dicey on me.
Joy here. Rachel and I would like to welcome you to You're All Right, Get Up, a podcast full of laughter, personal stories, encouragement, and often a show about living life. As a disclaimer, our podcast does not offer professional therapy or treat illness. We are a motivational, supporting podcast sharing our life experiences, stories, and laughter.
And we encourage you to check out our website, allright.com, for a chance to win prizes and to shop online. Each week, we're going to ask our listeners a random question, and we would love for you to participate by entering your responses by clicking the answer button on our website. So our last episode's question was, what superhero or villain would make the best therapist?
Oh,
Yeah.
woohoo!
We got some responses.
Thanks, folks. Yes. So we want to give a shout out to Nicole. Nicole sent over an answer that said Captain America for sure, or even Joker.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So yeah, this would be entertaining as a therapist, she said. We also had an answer from Jeremy. Professor Xavier, as portrayed by Patrick Stewart.
Oh, I love Patrick Stewart. Sir Patrick Stewart.
He would be a fantastic therapist. He's calm, kind, intelligent, has a soothing voice, and most importantly, he can read your mind. If a telepath can't help you dig up those repressed feelings and memories, no one can.
Oh, wow. Wow, Jeremy. I love it. That's a
Way to go.
That's a great answer.
Isn't that awesome? So, yeah.
I like Sir Patrick Stewart.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. I do too. Yep. Excellent. Excellent answers. Thanks, y'all, for doing that. We enjoy reading them and enjoy getting them and sharing them with everybody, and keep it up. We've got some other questions on the way. We've got some promos in the works. We got a lot of interviews on the conveyor belt. So we've got some cool stuff coming, and we want to share it with you guys. So follow us and stay tuned. A lot of good stuff.
Yes. So this week's question, in 40 years, what will people be nostalgic about?
Oh,
40
boy.
years is a long time.
40 years. Oh my gosh. I don't even think about that. That's
It's a long way away.
that's like, I mean,
Don't calculate your age right now. Just answer the question.
seriously. Yeah. Gosh. Let me think about that a second. You got anything brewing over there?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a movie theater.
Wow. That's a good one. That's a good answer.
I feel like in 40 years, I don't have any kids, so I'll use my niece and nephew to be like, yeah, we actually remember we all crammed into a room with strangers. And some of them, for some reason, even though there'd be 50 other empty rows, would sit right directly behind you.
right.
Not staggered, or a little to the left, or a little right, also known as staggered, but they would sit directly behind you,
Yes, absolutely.
breathing on you with their popcorn breath.
Laughing right on you, yeah. Popcorn flying everywhere.
Right.
I don't know about you, but have you ever had something fly, from the backside somewhere and land, and you're like, what was that? What touched me? Was that like, and come to find out it was probably like popcorn. I think in one individual instance, I remember it was like popcorn I found in my pocket. And I was like, okay, I don't really think that was mine.
No, I've never experienced that. I feel disappointed that I've never experienced random objects flying into my pocket.
Right.
Keep your thoughts clean. But no, I can't say. Now, my husband's thrown popcorn at me.
Is he a popcorn thrower?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
I want a lot of butter on my popcorn, and I'm going to toss it later at you. I'm like, that
knew?
popcorn just cost me 50 cents.
Yeah.
Because, a bucket.
Right.
Or I guess they come in bags.
Yeah. Well, buckets mainly from like the theaters that I've been to. Do they even do the bags anymore? Like the smaller bags?
The theater that I Patreon or patronage, that word, or I attend or purchase tickets.
Right.
They do bags, and then I think if you're willing to pay $47, they give you the bucket that has some kind of movie theme promo.
$47. $47.27. I'm just kidding.
And I love going to the theater.
Yeah.
I love, but the reason I said that answer is because some members of my family, you know, there's some movies that you can also rent on the same day that they're released in the theaters. And they're like, hey, we'll just watch it at home. And I'm like, no, you're missing the whole, you know, you got to fuss about the prices of the concession stand.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to find somebody that's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
You're missing the whole experience.
Right.
So that's why I was thinking in 40 years, they'll probably have entertainment systems that'll be really great.
Yeah.
And then you just can watch it at home.
Yeah.
Maybe by then they're like actual like 3D, like your VR unit where you can actually see. Well, I guess he won't probably be with us. I was going to say Tom Hanks or Tim Hanks. His grandson, Tim Hanks.
Yeah, right.
You know, he's standing there right in front of you. Tom Hanks probably won't be with us in 40 years. I'm sorry, Tom.
Right. He'll probably move on.
Yeah. I guess it's not. I don't know how old he is.
Oh, gosh. Well, he's, what, 60s?
I'm going to say
He's got to be.
60s.
Yeah, in his 60s.
Yeah, so, but you know what I'm talking about? Like, you'll actually see him in the, like, they'll play out the scene and it actually look like real people in your living room.
Right. Like, I could see where people could even, I mean, at that point, you're almost like teleport yourself.
That would be
You know what I mean? It's like, I want to go to the movies, and then all of a sudden, I hate traffic.
Ugh.
There you go, right there. I mean, what if that is one of the things that's really nostalgic? I mean, people
Driving a
don't really
car.
drive their car much anymore.
That's
I mean,
a good
just,
one.
They just teleport, or maybe they have their own quick little plane that like takes you super fast. You see beams of light, and then all of a sudden you're there.
Because I mean, I like it. I'm kind of thinking like a Star Trek feel.
Right.
Plug in for Star Trek. Maybe you haven't seen those earlier episodes where they're trying to get the molecules right. Can't remember what it is. They call it. I'll go with molecules. I do watch a lot of Star Trek. I started to say I don't, but I kind of do.
I love it. Yeah, I do love it. I haven't seen a lot of it recently, I have to be honest, but I do love it.
Okay, we would like to introduce you to Wednesday What's, which will be short segments during the middle of the week that gives you an idea of what is on our mind to give you, the listener, a midweek boost.
So we'd also like to mention our sponsor, Endeavor Promotions out of Birmingham, Alabama. Danny and his team have helped us tremendously with our promo items and some printing, and we certainly appreciate them and all the efforts and their support. You guys look them up. Please follow them. You go out and give them a call. They're super great over there, so we certainly appreciate them. Hey, I got a story for you. You ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, man. Okay. So this was bringing back a lot of memories, all right, for me and my family. We camp, okay? So we've mentioned that before. So we often go camping, and we have had several different trailers, okay? And so this particular story is based around learning how to maintain and use your trailer. You can just imagine, right? I mean, this is probably opening up a can of worms. And
This is about to get good.
anybody who knows anything about it is going, oh boy. I've been there, done that. Oh, gosh. Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. Like, right, everybody starts out with a tent. I mean, that's what we did, right? I mean, most people do, right? Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so we started out with a tent. And, of course, we ended up going specifically the last time we used a tent, which, first of all, everybody who ever uses a tent, right, in the beginning is always trying to figure out how to put the thing up. I mean, it's like, do I get trapped inside? Please,
Right.
Where's the zipper? I mean, I have no idea where these poles go, I
Right.
mean, what do I do with this thing? So, everybody goes through those motions. And we had finally got to the point that we were really good with a tent overall. However, we made a really bad choice.
Uh-oh.
When we went to the campground in August in the South. I mean, who does that, right? I mean,
Not anybody who's sane. Sorry.
oh my gosh. I mean, I think we looked at each other and we were like, Carol and I were like, did we really come here in August? It's like, what is wrong with us?
Because we did the same thing. We had the
Yeah.
tent before we had any kind of camper. And I learned exact degree how hot I can take it. At night, I'm okay during the day, but at night I've got to be cool.
Right.
I think
Yes.
the highest I can go is 64.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. To this day, I don't know how we made it. I mean, we're talking really warm temperatures,
I'm surprised.
even at night.
I'm surprised you didn't have to go have medical attention to get
Well,
hydrated.
Exactly. There was one instance, I think I was laying there thinking, okay, is this it? Is this the exit door? I'm not
This is
really
where they're gonna
sure.
find my body?
Right. I mean, I'm not really sure what's going to happen next. And, here we are probably to the point that we could have been like, hey, let's just pack up and leave. No, we were determined. We were like, we're going to see this through.
I'm going
We
to
are
give you
not
kudos.
leaving.
Kudos.
We got to go take cold showers and sit here like with ice buckets on our head. We're going to make it. We are going to do this.
So you said, I'm going to go to the south and I'm going to have a tent with no air conditioning.
Right. Yeah. With a fan. We did have a fan.
Well, that makes a big
Yeah.
difference to blow hot air around.
Right.
Sorry, forgot about the fan.
Yeah. Just move that air around in there. That's going to make all the difference.
Okay, so you decided to go camping.
Yeah. So we ended up, going through this period of testing out the waters with the tent. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, super hot. And, by the time we were ready to pack up, because it was like the next day or so, we were like, okay, it's really hot. We can't do this anymore. We're getting a little bit, too old for this. So we decided to pack everything up and head back. So after that specific trip, we said, okay, what we're going to do next, we're going to get a camper with an air conditioning, right? With something that we can put on 64 degrees.
Yes.
And keep us cool, especially at night.
It's very important.
Yeah. So we ended up actually looking around and we found this couple further south, older couple that was in retirement age, super nice. And they had a smaller KZ Sportsman, camper. So we took off, said, hey, let's go look at it. We went down, and took Dad with us and everything. Went down there and took a look at it, walked around, checked it out. They had rarely used this thing. I mean, it was just in pristine condition, and they were upgrading. So they were like, yeah, we're just upgrading. That's the only reason why we're getting rid of it. And so they were super sweet, so come in, we'll make y'all some tea. What do you want to drink? We hung out for a while, talked with them. And of course, the end result was, let's buy this and head home. We, got it all hooked up.
Because this is a pull behind.
This is a pull behind.
Okay.
So at the time, we had a Grand Cherokee, a Jeep Grand Cherokee. And yes, it was a Hemi.
Oh, that's
so
important.
it was able to pull it. A lot of people would be like, what? You're going to pull, a trailer with that, But no, it was, had a big motor. And so we hooked it up, got everything ready to go. Now, granted, Carol's family had a lot of experience with those trailers because her grandparents traveled a lot, camped a good bit, that type of thing. But this was kind of some of our first, we never had anything like that. So
How long is it?
So it's let's see. The other one we had was in the 30s. So this one was probably about 28, something like that.
So it's a good size.
Yeah, still a good size, but relatively shorter than most of the longer ones, So yeah, we hooked the thing up and took off towards, home. And we had a storage facility that we were going to keep the trailer at. So we decided, let's drop Dad off and everything, take him back, and we'll take the trailer to the storage facility. So we went over to the storage facility, we're driving on down, oh, this is great, this is perfect. This is just what we need, perfect size, everything. We're driving along, we pull into the storage facility, pull over the speed bump, through the gate, pull in, and it always takes you like 10, 15 minutes to back up the first time, you know,
Right.
because you always got to figure out like the right angle and, you know, everybody's kind of learning, well, how do I turn the wheel? Do I turn it left? Do I turn it right? Of course, the person in the back has always got to be the, you know, traffic controller, you know, so you.
Which is also a pressure job.
Exactly. What does the circle mean? I have no idea. Should I go left? Should I go right? You know, so there's a lot of learning curves there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing all of that and kind of going through the motions, you know. So she's driving at this point. She pulls up, she backs up a little bit. I'm back there and I'm like, okay, come on.
So you're yelling?
You're yeah.
Not on the
You
cell
got
phone?
it. I know.
Do they have cell phones now?
Yes, they have cell phones.
Okay. I just wonder why you're not on it.
You know, we did figure that out later, right?
Okay.
We went through that time frame where you're like, I'm not sure why you can't hear me. And I have a phone in my pocket. And you're like, just pick up your phone. So, yeah, we went through that. And it works really well, by the way. So, yeah, everybody dials on your phone.
We have walkie-talkies.
Now, we did that as well, too.
Just
Yeah.
because, you know, you could go into a rural area, which is hard to say, and you might not have the cell. And that to me is even more irritating when the person can't hear you or you can't hear them,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah, so she was backing it in. We were at the storage facility. And as she was backing it in, you know, I was over there kind of fiddling with some of the stuff and, you know, kind of making sure everything was turned right because we were having to get it at a right angle, right, to get it, you know, backed up in there. So I'm over there fidgeting with a few things, kind of checking, you know, some of the stuff. Because she's going slow enough, you know, to where we can kind of get it backed in. So I go around to the back and, you know, kind of trying to pull her back in, you know, say, come on, come on, come
Right.
on, and come on. And all of a sudden it's like, if it won't move. It's like it just like jammed up, you know?
The trailer?
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you know, what's going on? So she hops out. She's like, what's happening here? What's the problem? What's going on? And so we hop out and we're like looking at everything, you know, and we can't get this thing, we can't get it to move at this point. We're like, okay, what has happened? You know, did it break? I mean, what's going on? And so we took the longest time trying to figure out, you know, how to get the trailer to move. You know, we just can't get it to go anywhere. And
So are you half in the spot? and
half in the spot and half out.
So you're blocking anybody from going by
exactly.
you too? Oh, perfect.
Exactly.
No
Yeah.
pressure.
No pressure at all. And, you know, at this point, we're thinking, oh, okay, I have no idea. It's like something is wrong. Something's broken. You know, we killed it. You know, what happened? And so we had to get on the phone. And because at this point, we're like, okay, we've run out of ideas. You know, we're like pulling and, you know, jabbing and everything. And we get on the phone. We call Dad. We're over at the storage facility. We're in a little bit of a bind. So we're kind of explaining, you know, what's going on. And, you know, parents, right, in all their wisdom, and he says, hey, I want to check the little electric brake, you know, down there. And we're like, oh. And so anyway, he says, go back there and kind of pull on that, you know, like pull it from the other direction and make sure it's jabbed back up in there real good. And so what had happened was when I was back there messing with some of the, you know, the hitch and everything, I had pulled on that thing and it had actually caused the emergency brake to stall up. And it was like, it was stuck. And so anyway, that was the big problem. Once we got that all rectified, we were able to get backed up and get pulled in.
Did you admit that it was your fault that you caused this?
You know, at that point, it's
I
like
wonder how
everything
that
was,
worked.
it's like, you know, I think that thing was just having a bad day. You know, right? But that's not the best part. Let me tell you one quick little short stint about the next trailer that we had. So we went on to learn a lot of things, okay, as you do. And we ended up trading up and we got a Coachman, which was a little bigger, had 2 doors instead of the one, which was the other trailer. And so we ended up getting one that, had a little extra space on the front, had a little bigger bedroom, a little extra space in the kitchen. And it was fantastic. We loved it. It was a lot of fun. So we went over one day to the same facility. It's where we had the trailer, and we said, it was just the 2 of us that day. And we were in a little bit of a hurry because Carol and I said, we want to be sure we try to get over there, get it home so we can get everything packed up. Dad and everybody was ready and waiting on us. And so we said, let's get on over there and hook it up, and we'll be on our way. So we pull in, back up to it, right? And we get everything out. We get, the rods out. We get everything, lined up, hooked up, the hitch in, the bars on. You got sway bars and all that. And so pull the chocks, and we're double checking the double check, which is what most people do, right?
Double check of the double check.
You've always got a double checker. Come
Definitely.
on. Everybody's always okay. Yeah, that's good to go. Let me go check the lights. Let me go check, And so generally you got folks doing that. So that particular day, however, the double checker checked out.
Wait, let's back up for just a second. Who was the double checker?
So it depends because, there are times when the double checker might be me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are times when the double checker, might be Carol, might be Dad, whoever. So it's not really just one person.
But in this case, who would you assign the double checker title to?
I would say that it probably should have fallen mainly on me.
I'm hearing just from these 2 stories so far that you will not be checking my...
I should probably never go camping again.
Mental note, never ask Joy to do the debarkation and the embarking.
I am the amateur.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, clearly. Does anybody have camping college classes or courses or credits I can take?
So from now on, I'd probably be the person that always said, "Oh, this is not going right. Joy, what did you touch?"
Right. Stop
Walk
it.
me through what you've touched.
Leave it, Joy.
What you haven't touched.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah. So wait till you hear. All right. So the double checker checked out. Was clearly a little aloof that day, like, oh, whoa, maybe I haven't had my chicken biscuit yet. I'm not sure. Something was wrong, apparently. Mm-hmm. So we both apparently said, oh, the other person checked that. Right? Which is, we got all hooked up, pulled out of the spot, and we are on a little bit of a small incline. And that meaning is when you backed into the spot, you had a little bit of a grade, right? Just a little bit. So when you pulled out, the pressure of the trailer pushed against you, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So as you pull out, you got a small curve, just a small curve to make before you go up a small incline to go out the gate, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So here's where the magic happens. You're going up that small incline and you get to the gate and all of a sudden you hear something go and you're like,
that's not good.
You stop immediately. And all of a sudden you're like catching yourself like, okay, what just happened? All right. We both look at each other and we look out the window. And the trailer, we can see almost the top of the trailer. The trailer had come out of the hitch.
Oh my gosh.
On the ground.
Oh, wow.
We forgot to put in the kingpin.
Oh my, very important piece.
So let me tell you something. Once you learn a lesson, you will never forget it. And
especially when you no longer have a trailer.
Right, exactly. You talk about NASCAR pit crew here. I mean, this is like the fastest pit crew you've probably ever seen at this point, because we are totally blocking the entrance and the out. Okay.
So was anybody watching this?
Yeah.
Please say yes.
Yes. There was a guy further down he was, I think it was a motorhome. And he was down there, and it was funny because Carol kept looking at me going, that guy's down there, and I think he's got to leave. I think he's got to leave. And I was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. I'm like, it's all hooked up. It's got the chains and everything. You know, it's here. It's not going to go anywhere. But fastest pit race. Because then at that point, it was like, everybody went into some automatic motion, right? So it's like somebody's going and getting the chocks, you know, putting the chocks down, and somebody else is like, oh, okay, let me get it cranked up. And so, you know, we're trying to go back and crank it up and get it raised up.
And then is it a manual
and then,
or automatic crank?
No, this is a manual.
Oh, wow.
So so the effort going into this was just, you know, it was good teamwork. But at the same time, it was the kind of teamwork that it's total panic.
Well, it's good that you came together instead of dividing and then just yelling at each other.
Right.
Because I've seen that happen at trailer parks.
Oh, definitely.
You know, where, I mean, I'm trying not to stare at people when they're parking.
Right.
But some of the show's too good to not watch.
I know.
I'm just sitting there on my chair like, I don't know why I'm thinking about this. The Andy Griffin show, you know, where they're outside the barber store.
I love those episodes.
Front, you know, and they're just watching what's transpiring. And I'm like, oh, he's about to get mad.
She's to go
mad.
down.
She's mad because he can't figure it out. He's mad because she's saying she's not giving him the correct signs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So you all have your assigned automatic.
Yeah. So, you know, it was funny. We just kind of went in automatic mode, and we didn't really at that point go, I think the conversation went something like this. We get out. I get out first. And because at this point, I think Carol has her head in her hands.
Yes.
And I go to the back and I walk back up to the front real gently, and I go, yeah, it's not hitched up anymore.
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
And so she gets out, she comes over, and immediately I think we both start to cry.
Yes.
And then at that point we're like, okay, all right, so I'm going to go get the chocks, and then you go get, you know, everything so we can raise it up. And then once we get it raised up, you know, we know that it's not going to go anywhere. We get the truck backed up, and I'm like, okay, we got to pull ourselves together. I'm in motivational support point, you know, at this point. It's like, okay, come on, we got to pull ourselves together. You can do this. You got it.
I love this positivity.
We got a minute. Look, you know, we got a minute. You can do this. She goes up, she backs it up. We get it, you know, hitched back in, and then get the kingpin in.
What important part was that?
Everything is all, you know.
What was it called again?
A kingpin.
Very important.
Yes. So, guys, let me tell you something. We got it hooked back up. Of course, went back, made sure we pulled the chocks because we didn't want to try to take off with those. But we were racing against time at that point. We were like, oh my gosh, here comes this guy with this motorhome. And, you know, there was somebody waiting out front too. By the time we actually got it back to where we were able to pull the camper out through the gate, there was a big motorhome waiting to come in.
Nice.
And so we've got, you know, an audience at this point. And
that always helps things out.
It does, right? It speeds you up.
Yeah.
It speeds up the process. So, yeah, we pull out of the gate, and we pull, instead of even just leaving the storage facility, we pull up on the side in the parking lot. And at this point, we're like, okay, let everybody in and out. And we're just like, both just start to wail. Just like, oh, just thank you that happened right there.
I was about to say, at least it was inside the storage. Could you imagine going down the road?
Oh, no.
I mean, how scary that would have been. And
yeah, I think the realness of it really didn't hit us at that point until we had pulled over and we were like, oh, thank you, God, you know, that we were able to just have that happen right here. But a valuable lesson. It's really funny now. It wasn't funny then.
No,
It was just a funny thing that, making memories that you remember. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to double check the double checker. And so now we have somebody double checking, but somebody going behind them. So yeah.
We'll now add that to our list of things to check.
Yeah, certainly be sure that you do that. That is very important. That would have saved us a lot of effort.
I hate that sound, like something like that significant makes.
Oh, and I can't even, I was trying to come up with, how can I really make that sound? But then, there's no way I could. It was just a horrific sound as if we took out the whole fence when we were leaving. We're like, oh, we'll just take this with us as we go.
At least you didn't see somebody standing there just shaking their head like,
oh, I know. Yeah, at least somebody wasn't over there just kind of gawking and,
like me, I would have been in my lawn chairs. Oh, this is going to get good.
Yeah, this is good. Bring yours. Where's yours at? Go get it out of the storage. Let's bring it over here.
Timer.
Oh, that reminds me. That would be just like all of you that have seen the movie RV would be just like the time that he was out there emptying the sewage and all of them were setting up their lawn chairs. Have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen it. It's been a while, but I've seen it.
Oh, that is hilarious. It's so iconic. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to tell you our first sewer story.
Yeah.
So we were staying at a state park that did not have sewer hookup. Mm-hmm. But we're only going to be there for 2 or 3 days. It's our first time using our travel trailer. And so I'm like, well, how important is the sewage hookup? We can probably make it a couple of days. So we bought a Honeywell.
Yeah.
The part of the deal with the camper was that Brian would hook everything else up and I would be in charge of the sewer and the water. It seemed like a good idea because, you want something really bad and you're willing to make the deal. And then in the back of your mind, you kind of think, he's not really going to hold me to that. Well, he has. Very consistent. Knowing how it grossed out I get over things like that. And so we're at the state park and, we're constantly watching the tanks. And then I'm like, and for those people who don't camp, there's a sensor that tells you when to empty out your gray tank, which is your showers and your sinks, and then your black tank, which is your sewer. So I'm nervous. I'm constantly hitting the buttons to see where we're at. And then finally it's like, I think it's time.
Yeah.
And a Honeywell basically is, to me, it's this big, huge Tupperware thing with wheels. We had watched some YouTube videos on how to do this because we didn't really ask a lot of questions when we purchased our camper. And so we take it around to the connections and we start to fill it up. And I'm like, wow, I think our Honeywell's about to run it over. And I've got my shirt pulled up over my nose too, because all I can think of is I'm going to smell something.
Right. I'm going to be prepared.
Or I'm going to see something coming out. It's going to be over. So, we don't quite empty out all our tanks because there's only so many gallons that those Honeywells hold. Mm-hmm. And so we filled it up. And then this kind, you can attach it to the hitch of your truck. Mm-hmm. And so we pulled it to the dumping station. Now, it gets a little nerve-wracking for me because this is my first time. Everybody's watching you. And then there's people waiting to do their camper and dump their tanks.
Right. Yeah.
So all I can think of is Robin Williams. But anyway, so we dump it. And then the hose that goes to the Honeywell, I'm going to take the garden. It's like a garden hose and, rinse it out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It kind of looks like one of those vacuum exhaust hoses. It can adjust for the length. Mm-hmm. And being the short person I am, the hose was pretty long. And so Brian took it upon himself to help me with this. And I have on flip-flops. And when he does, he grabs the other end, which I'm not prepared for, and all that water goes onto my shoe. I'm going to say it was water, but we're rinsing out the sewer hose.
Yeah, it was definitely water.
Yeah. And all I can do is look at my cute flip-flops. And all I can think is like, that has poo-poo water on it.
Did you keep the flip-flops?
I don't think so. Because I haven't seen them.
Did they go in the dumpster too?
And all I can think of is there's poo-poo water on me. And that I just shut down.
Oh, goodness.
I know that's hard to believe. I'm just like, with my mouth open and just staring at him like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I had it handled. We were working from this end back.
Right.
And then, you're trying not to be too ugly because there's people waiting on you. But I'm like, I am going to suffocate you in your sleep.
Right.
But you're trying to do it real quiet.
Yes.
There's no witnesses. You just wait till we get in this camper and act like I'm so happy.
Right. Just wait till I get you home.
But
First name, middle name, last name.
so like last scene. Oh,
Yeah, it's work. It's a learning curve.
It is.
I mean, most people, well, I say most people, but I've had a lot of people say, "Oh my gosh, it's so much work. I don't want to have to do that." And but yeah, it is work, but it's also really rewarding and it's a lot of fun and it's definitely memorable. I mean, you make plenty of memories and it's almost something, I don't know, a little, I guess, magical, right? When you take the journey and you go through all this stuff and then you get to some beautiful place, and you're like, I made it,
It's worth it.
We survived, I mean, it really is. It's worth it. And there's so many cool things you can do, at campgrounds and traveling. And we love state parks and places like that. So it's a lot of fun. Hey, folks, so we've laughed a lot and talked a lot about fun memories and camping and all this fun stuff with our families. And we just want to kind of bring it back around and say that, we often, all of us, go through a whole lot of but seriously, folks, we do. We go through a lot. And we often have to remember that when we're out and things happen to us, and very much like what we've said today, we get into situations where it's like we feel as if tragedy has just hit us. We're so engulfed in the moment. We feel as if, oh my gosh, my flip-flops are gone, or there's something crazy, what just happened to my trailer? What's going on behind me? We have to pull things back around and remember who we are and who we're with and what the most important thing in life is. And that is really being there for each other and helping each other out. And remembering that some of these things are just really fleeting things. They're things that'll be here today and gone tomorrow. And if we just really take the time to focus on our family, the people we love and those that are with us, and, working together to get something done, the memories that you make when you're together like that are unforgettable. And what I challenge you to do today is to make more of those and to make them with the people that you love the most. So I want you to take that with you, and I want you to remember that you are stronger than you think, and don't give up. If you feel overwhelmed and you can't do it on your own, reach out to a caring friend, a pastor, or a counselor. And if you feel like you've reached rock bottom, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline has caring people available 24/7, and they can be reached by dialing or texting 988.
Stay healthy, stay connected, and know that you matter. Till next time, friends.